some things that we do in my business hat, my non-chamber hat, my business hat, is we develop software, and we compete with people who are allowed to get contracts with the U.S. government and have all the software developed overseas. So I would like to have at least some point preferences if our workforce is from the US, is US based, right? And it just seems like the federal government has allowed, even on a small business set aside, which is where it hurts us the most, it hurts me the most, is that that we can't compete with somebody who's paying less than minimum wage overseas, right? So I would like to be able to see that there's some, at least on the small business set aside, said that it has to be something that's developed here in the US. And I don't know if how that fits on the whole, how people feel about that, but I know that it's been hurting our small business community in the software and the IT industry.
I'd say I think everybody in the Democratic Party, we want to grow small business big time. And that's the future. There's no more jobs coming at General Electric. It's small business that grows into medium to bigger. And that's the genius of entrepreneurs. So let's do this. Sarah, talk to my folks, Krista, on appropriations. But there may be some appropriations language that we can look at. You know, appropriations, two things. It's money and it's language. But we tell the agencies, the Small Business Agency, Department of Commerce, how they do what they do with what we give them. Because every dollar the government spends comes out of that one committee. All the other committees only authorize money, which has no reason we ever have to spend it. It's irrelevant. So every committee authorizes, it's irrelevant. All that matters is we appropriate it. That doesn't make any sense, but that's how it works. So let's look for some language, Krista. Talk to Krista and she'll tell her to get back to me. But on small business set-asides, I agree. We're trying to drive our small business, and then somebody else goes to Costa Rica and they're going to have folks that are making, $6 an hour, or maybe it's a developer for $20 an hour and your developers are $100 an hour. And I have to know my company, they do stuff in South America too. I picked that up the other day at one of my CEO meetings. We were talking about software development, and they were talking about they've moved it to our hemisphere because when they're going to Bangalore, they had too much insanity on the time changes, and so by staying in this hemisphere, they were getting better connectivity. But that defeats the ideas on driving more small business jobs here.
Yeah, not only that, but it disincentivizes
Yep.
young people to enter into those job markets. And we're going to find ourselves where we don't have so many innovators here because they're all coming from abroad.
No, if we can own the innovators, we own the world.